He raped me, then came crawling back for a second chance. And I gave it to him. I smiled, I played the perfect girlfriend, I gave him everything he ever dreamed of, until I ripped it all away in front of my family. This wasn't just revenge, it was justice. If you've ever tasted the bittersweet power of karma, then this story is going to hit hard. Smash that like button, subscribe for more stories of justice, and comment below, because today's revenge? It's nuclear. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who'd plan revenge. I'm not calculating by nature. I was soft, too. Soft. Always forgiving, always giving second chances. Especially to him. We'd been on and off for years. He had this gambling addiction, always promising he'd change, always draining me dry. Even using my money to feed his addiction. And every time he swore it was the last time, I'd believe him. That cycle of hope and disappointment, it broke me little by little, but nothing prepared me for the night that changed my life forever. It had been a few weeks since I finally ended things. I told him I was done. Done with the lies, the gambling, the empty promises. He didn't fight it too hard then. But one night, my phone rang. His number. He sounded broken. Crying. Drunk. He said he had no one else to turn to, no family, no friends. And me? I've always had this soft spot for people who seem alone in the world. So I told him he could come over. Maybe we'd talk. Maybe I'd help him through the night. When he showed up, he was drunk but steady. We sat down, and at first, he poured his heart out about another relationship that had failed. About losing money again at the tables. About being used. I nodded, listened, until his tone changed, his eyes darkened. His words turned sharp. Suddenly, I was the problem. You should have supported me. You were a heartless bitch. A whore who only cared about money. And before I could even react, he was on me. Yanking my hair. Slapping me. Choking me. My little chihuahua, sick with an eye infection, barked and pulled at his pants, trying to defend me. But nothing stopped him. He shoved me into my bedroom, pinned me down, and told me he had nothing to lose, that he'd kill me. I screamed. I fought. I begged him to stop. He didn't. He raped me. And when he finished, he sneered and said he hoped I got pregnant, that it would be my punishment. I remember lying there, my body bruised, bleeding, shaking, while he passed out like nothing had happened. My dog whimpered beside me. I locked myself in the bathroom and just cried, hating myself, hating my body, hating the fact that I had let him in. For weeks afterward, I was a shell. I washed myself raw. I told myself it was my fault. I avoided everyone. I couldn't even keep doing sex work, it felt too violating, too dirty. I was spiraling, living with the memory replaying every time I closed my eyes, but then something clicked. Why was I the one suffering? Why was he out there, free, living his life, probably gambling again, probably charming the next girl? He thought he had broken me. But no, he had awakened something in me. I wasn't going to move on. I wasn't going to forgive. I was going to make him pay. So I waited. Because I knew him. He always came back. Always sniffing around for another chance. And sure enough, a few days later, he texted me that he was remorseful, well, as remorseful as he could be. He admitted some fault, but still blamed me. Said we should stop the childish games and just be together. I told him I forgave him. That I wanted to try again. Inside, I was seething. But outside, I was calm. Sweet. Loving. I sold it so well even he believed it. I moved back in with my parents, telling him I'd given up escorting. That it was all for him. He was ecstatic. Finally, he thought, his dream was coming true. See, the one thing he craved more than anything wasn't money, or women, or even gambling. It was family. He grew up abandoned, unloved. And he always envied me for having supportive parents. I knew that. I knew exactly how to use it, so I asked my parents if he could move in with us. I convinced them this time was different. That he had changed. And slowly, they warmed up to him. My mom treated him like a son. My dad even gave him work in construction. He was living his fantasy. Clean clothes, warm meals, steady work, a girlfriend who smiled and pretended to adore him. He even quit gambling. He was affectionate. He was happy, and I was numb. I pushed myself to sleep with him again, treating it like I was with a client. Building that wall in my mind. Every kiss made me sick, but I pushed through. Because the longer I kept this up, the sweeter the fall would be. Then came the anniversary. 1 year to the day since he raped me. That morning, he tried to kiss me. Before leaving for work. I turned my head away. He looked confused but didn't push. I smiled inside. Tonight was the night at 9 p.m., he came home with my dad from work. We sat down as a family, me, him, my mom, my dad. And I said, we need to talk. My parents looked worried. He looked curious, and then I told them everything that I described, how 1 year ago, this man they had welcomed into their home, had raped me. How he had choked me, threatened me, violated me, tried to hurt my dog. My mom broke down sobbing. My dad's face went pale, then stone cold. And him? He just sat there, red-faced, his mouth opening and closing, no words coming out. My parents asked why I hadn't said anything sooner. And that's when I turned to him, locked eyes with him, and unleashed everything I'd been holding in. Did you love having a family? Did it feel good, finally being accepted, having clean clothes, good food, sex whenever you wanted, no worries about rent? Did it feel good living in my world, in my family's love? Well, guess what? I'm taking it all back. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve anything. Get out of my life. The room went silent. My words sliced through the air like knives, and then he exploded. He screamed at me, at my parents, saying I was cruel, heartless. That I had played him. That I had no right to toy with his heart. He demanded money, saying he'd be homeless. Without it, my mom, still sobbing, gave him a small amount just to make him leave. My dad told him if he didn't walk out right then, he'd drag him out and beat him bloody, and just like that, he was gone. When the door closed behind him, I collapsed. I sobbed, shaking, but this time, the tears weren't just pain. They were release. For a year, I had carried his crime inside me, alone. For a year, I had lived in silence. But now my parents knew. Now he knew that he hadn't broken me, he had only set me up for the cruelest justice of all. He had his dream life in the palm of his hands. And I crushed it. Now he's on the streets, begging for a place to stay, scrambling for rent money. And me? I finally feel free. Sometimes revenge isn't about an eye for an eye. Sometimes it's about making someone taste everything they ever wanted, and then ripping it away. He thought he could scar me forever. But in the end, I was his karma. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button, it helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe for more stories of justice, betrayal, and revenge. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? I'll be reading.